여러분은 혹시 바나다 선장님의 데뷔에서 포그라는 말 단어 듣고 다시 한번 바나다 선장님께서 포그라를 한 말 들으신 적 있나요? 뭐 기억 못 하시겠다면요. 혼자가 아닐 거예요. 저희도 잘 모르겠어요. 그렇다면 한번 이 팬메이드 프로젝트 카이조크루 라디오를 한번 들어보시는 건 어떨까요? 선장님을 기다리는 동안. So, outside of her debut stream, has anyone ever heard of Hada saying the word pog before? If you can't remember, you're probably not alone in that aspect, because I can't remember it either. But then how about you just listen to this fan-made project, Kaizocrew Radio, and just go down memory lane while we wait for her comeback. 네, 이 카이조크루 라디오는요, 저희가 그냥 그 웰컴백 선물로 한번 해보기로 했어요. 제가 아이디어 내고 제가 하고 있어요. 그럴 수밖에 없죠. 네, 저희는 그 처음에는 하다 코드, 바나다의 디스코드 팬 서버 분들한테 세 가지의 문제를 물어보고 그들의 답장을 들어보고 그렇게 인터뷰식으로 했습니다. 한번 잘 들어봐 주세요. So this Kaizocrew Radio was and is a welcome back gift to her. I don't know how it will go because it's the whole how this thing will flow is that we asked a couple people on the Kaizocrew Discord a couple questions and we got their answers and we put this together. Hope you enjoy. 네, 미리 말씀드리겠지만 이 인터뷰는 다 사전 녹음이고요. 네, 잘 들어봐 주세요. 처음으로 하는 거라 어떻게 될지 모르겠지만. So all these interviews were pre-recorded before. So please, if it's a little odd, that's the reason why. And we now pop the questions on screen. So we asked 3 questions. 저희가 세 가지의 문제를 물어봤어요. 바나다를 어떻게 처음 찾았는지, 바나다가 도대체 왜 좋은지, 원하는 바나다 테마 상품이 있었다면 무엇을 만들 건지. So we asked 3 questions. The first one being, how did you first discover Hada? Second one was, what is that you like about Hada? And then the last one was, if there's one piece of merch you could create that's Hada themed, what would you make it out to be? 그러면은 저희는 처음 게스트로 한번 답장을 한번 들어보죠. We'll move on to our first guest to see how they replied. Okay, so first today we have our first guest here. Would you want to introduce yourself first to the people listening in?
Sure.
Just your name.
Hello. My name is Tofri. I am a frequent. I'm a person that frequently just hangs out in gaming and in our tech channel, and oftentimes just is referred to as the keep guy.
Yeah. So as far as we know on Twitter, you've also been helping Hada when she first looked at her keyboards, and right?
Yeah, it got me really excited to hear that she was thinking of going into creating a custom for herself. And prior to that, she had some problems with her keyboard, which prompted the idea for her in the first place. And I really wanted to do what I could to be able to get her to not make the same mistakes I did when I was starting out, because the hobby itself is very vast and it can get very confusing. So it always seems to help when you have someone to guide you, and I just wanted to be there for her.
And it seems like she really appreciated it a lot as well. So we'll get right into the first question, which is, so how did you first discover Hada?
I think I discovered it around the same time as a lot of other people probably did. I was watching. It was during her collab with with Elira when they were playing Biped, or in their words, Bipped. I fell in love with her accent that very first stream. I It felt very fresh, considering that I've been watching. I think I've been watching Holo EN for a few months at that point, and that was one of my first streams to watch Niji EN. So I got really used to the Canadian American accents, and I had no idea that um, there was someone in a different branch of Niji Sanji that could speak English fluently. When and Hada came along like a steamroller, just breaking all of those misconceptions.
Yeah, because I believe it was with the Illira collab that most other fans of Illira as well also hopped over, saw
Hmm.
her, and grew as well to like her. So that leads on to our second question then. So what is it that you really like about Hada? I guess you mentioned it with the whole accent as well, but is there anything else you like
Oh
her about it?
yeah, yeah. The accent hooked me at the start, but I stayed for the general vibe of her streams. I think I mentioned this a lot when I would um, try and show my appreciation for her. I generally can't really pay attention to exactly what's happening on the stream at all times. So I usually gravitate towards more comfy, laid back streams than high octane, high octane ones. So with how I came to know the captain, it's really been more um in her in her. It's really more of the laid back feel when she does Zatsu dance, or when she does like even if it's not a Zatsu stream, like when she would play House Flipper.
Oh yeah,
That
that's a
was
good one.
one of the ones that I really like. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one because it really felt like just being in a conversation with someone uh that you've been friends with for a while, and it's that vibe that kind of like kept me to stay. um but one of the things that I want to really highlight about Hada is just her absolute refusal for bullshit. I love that about her.
Oh yeah,
um
that's probably
w-
one of the most important points among us fans as well. That she doesn't stand for anything.
yeah, she stands her ground when she knows she's right, and she doesn't let herself get pushed around. um and she has principles. Like, her principles are strong, and you can really feel it from like even down to her membership messages, how she communicates to her fans, and how she handles trolls. Like, you can really feel and hear that she has very strong principles, and I respect that a lot about her. And it's one of the things that I really like about who she is.
Yeah, I agree on that. It's very refreshing to see someone who's, as you said, stands their ground, doesn't put up any bullshit, just calls
Mhm.
it out as it
Yep.
is. Now this will now lead to our last question then. It should be, it's a pipe dream obviously for most of us, but if there was one piece of Hada themed merch, what would it be that you would want?
Oh my
Anything in the
goodness.
world.
Like, in all honesty, um like, off the top of my head, it's really a keycap. I would love an official Hada themed keycap. Like, it could be just an engraving of her signature, or um like one of the ideas I shot before was the her pinwheel, because it's notoriously known for being very difficult to draw.
Yep.
Most artists just outright refuse to add it in their fan art because of the difficulty. Having that as an official keycap, or rather, having that as a keycap, as official merchandise from Niji would be like, I would say, killer. But something a little less intense would probably be, um, I think, a compass would be something that would fit her theme very well. Not just because of not just because of the whole sailor, um, or pirate theme, but in two ways. For us fans, she usually comes off as like a a, a sort a she usually comes off as someone that can provide us with a little bit of direction in our lives, from the day to day grind of work, having something to look forward to, something we want to be able um uh to aim for at the end of the day or at the end of the week, to be able to relax and unwind. I think is very fitting, but at the same time, I think it would fit her because it's very clear that she has very strong motivations, and she has a decent idea, or it seems to us that she has a decent idea of what she wants in life and what she wants to be able to experience, and she will do what she wants to be able to get that, even if it means having to make certain sacrifices along the way. And I think a compass would uh, represent that side of her as well, being um, the tool that you use to be able to get to your destination.
It's deep. Man, I put in this question as like a bit of a, essentially like a lighthearted thing, but wow, that is deep. Those are questions that, thank you, Toph, for doing this.
Yeah,
And yeah,
appreciate it.
alright. 네, 그쯤은 저희 첫 번째 게스트 분의 답장이었습니다. 제가 죄송하게도 시간이 좀 쫓겨가지고 번역을 다 못했는데요. 그래도 한번 봐주시길 바랍니다. 번역하는 힘들어요. 그렇다면 저희는 두 번째 게스트로 넘어가기 전에 노래 한 곡을 추천하고 싶네요. 이 노래는 나온 지 한 몇 달 됐지만 그래도 여전히 좋아요. 이 노래는 블랙아웃이에요. 신인 그룹 코러수가 블랙아웃을 부른 거죠? 네, 블랙아웃은 원래 니지산지 EN 옵시리아 그룹의 노래인데 코러스는 그거를 한국어로 바꿔가지고 뭐 커버곡을 했네요. 시간 나면 한번 들어주세요. So that was our first guest. I hope you guys heard the answers, and once again I want to thank all the guests for participating in this. I know it's not easy. But before we move on to the next guest, I'd like to recommend a song. The song's been out for a while, but it's still pretty good. It's done by a rookie group called Korosu. It's their song Blackout. So, as most people will know if you're listening in, Blackout was a song done by Obsidia initially from Nijisanji En. What Korosu did was they took Blackout, translated into Korean, and then did a cover of it themselves. Highly recommended. So please go take a listen when you have time. 네, 그렇다면 저희는 두 번째 게스트 바로 넘어갈게요. 이 두 번째 게스트는요, 조금 제가 이렇게 하면 되겠다 하고 좀 진행한 거니까 좀 이번엔 나을지도 몰라요. So we'll move on to our second guest then. So with the first interview out of the way, I got a bit of an idea of this is how I should do it, but I'm pretty sure it's still scuffed. But yeah, here they are. Right, so we have our next guest here. Would you mind just giving a brief introduction of yourself?
Hello, this is Potofu.
Right, Tofu. So straight into the first question then. How did you first discover Hada?
I first found her on Twitter where she was typing Kaizocruise, and I found the clip she was referring to was her playing Apex and sneezing as well.
Okay, so the second question then. So what is that you like about Hada?
I like her confidence and her chillness of her just being herself. This feels a very nice string to hang out and relax.
Okay, so moving on to the third question then. If there's one piece of merchandise that you could get that was Hada themed, what would it be?
I like for some Hada drip, like a jacket or hoodie to be like a Kaizocruise theme and stuff
Okay,
to
yeah.
sport around and wear.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Do you have any last words you want to say to Hada before we sign off here?
So,
네, 그러면 두 번째 게스트 분들도 잘 들었습니다. 저희가 넘어가기 전에 광고가 하나 있어요. 네, 저희도 광고해요. 그렇다면은 잠시만 이 광고를 들으시고 돌아오겠습니다. So that was the second guest. Before we move on, we will have a ad break. No, not like the YouTube ones, but a manual ad read. Yeah, we have sponsors too. So please take a listen to this ad and then we'll carry on with our regular program.
Next time you go shopping, make sure to get some Hadamite, the Kaizocrew's favorite spread. We're all growing stronger with the power of Hadamite every day. Hadamite, still one of the world's richest known sources of pan-Hada.
네, 광고 잘 들으셨는지 모르겠지만 그거는 하다마이트. 호주에서 요즘 잘 나가는 베지마이트 그 패러디 버전이었습니다. 영어로만 해가지고 뭐 안타깝지만 다음에 번역할게요. 그럼 저희는 세 번째 게스트로 넘어가겠습니다. 뭐 다 문제는 다 똑같으니 뭐 녹음 한번 들어보시죠. So that was our advertisement for Hadamite, a parody of the very, very well-selling Vegemite in Australia, which Hada absolutely loves. Then we'll move on to the third guest, and all the questions are the same. There's no changes. So let's play the audio. Right, so next up we have a special one. This person is the admin of the Hada server. Could you just give a brief introduction of your, Discord name and whatnot, please?
Hi there, my name is Bunny, and I like food and Hada. Peace out.
Alright, man. Alright, it's good to see you, man. So, we'll get into the first question straight away then. How did you first find Hada?
I know about her from the debut announcement, and since then, I somehow make a lot of lame pun about her name, and so I decided to give her a chance, and here I am, hook watching her until now.
I think that's most of us, eh? So then I guess it leads on to the next question naturally. What is it that you like about Hada that's keeping you around?
I like that Hada is a really comfy person that confident with herself, and she really cares about her friends, and more importantly, she loves food. And like I said at the beginning, that I like food too.
Yeah, that's right. A common interest in food.
Yes.
Alright, then we'll move on to our last question, which is if you can create or come up with one kind of merchandise that's Hada themed, what would it be?
I guess it would be Kaizocrew plushies maybe. Yeah, I think that is it.
Oh, so the koala mascot turn them into plushies.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Well, thank you for your time, Bunny. Thank you, admin.
Thank you too.
Alright, man. Thank you very much. 네, 그렇다면 네 번째 게스트분의 답장을 잘 한번 들으셨나요? 뭐 이해 못하셔도 느낌은 전달이 되나요? 얼마나 진심으로 얘기하고 얼마나 그렇게 진심으로 바나나를 좋아하는지. 그렇다면 넘어가기 전에 마지막 5번째 게스트로 넘어가기 전에 노래 추천을 한 번 더 하고 싶네요. 이 그룹은 잘 나가다가 이제 이것저것 일로 다시는 못 나오지만 아주 좋은 곡들을 냅두고 왔어요. 뭐 첫 번째 곡은 레토 조토입니다. 그룹 이름은 미안하다 피나야죠. 다들 잘 아실 거예요. 그럼 한번 듣고 들어봐요. So I hope you guys listen to the fourth guest answers. But before we move on, I'd like to recommend another song. So this girl group, they were really going really well, but unfortunately due to circumstances they can't show anymore. Who knows, maybe in the future, maybe. But for now, I'd like to recommend a song from them. The title is called Reto Jotto, and obviously it's the girl group 미안하다 피나야. So go take a listen. So next up, we have someone who's pretty infamous, I guess, to Hada. Could you just give a slight introduction to yourself, please?
I'm sorry, give me. Did he hear that, by the way?
Dude, it's fine. Yeah, we heard a little bit.
Hello, I am the person who successfully rickrolled Hada on her birthday, also known as Daikaigan.
Right.
Although everyone in the server just calls me Dai.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll get into the first question then. How'd you first find Hada?
I first discovered Nijisanji through Ian, and I was just watching some Ian clips, and one of the collabs that Hada did with Ian was an Among Us collab, and I saw a clip where it was Hada, Pomu, and I believe it was Hari. The last member I believe was Hari, and Pomu just killed Alira, and Hada was basically calling out Pomu. And I watched that clip because of Niji Ian, but like when I heard Hada's voice, I kind of became curious. It's like, oh, who's this? Like, she has a really attractive voice. So that's basically how I discovered her.
Okay, so then we'll move on to the next one, which is what keeps you around and like keep watching Hada over and over again every time she streams?
Right. So there's some simple ones, like for example, like I said earlier, her voice. I really like her voice, and also like she has a sense of humor that I just vibe with, and like she has a really chill vibe that I enjoy. Like it's just depending on what streams she does. Like sometimes I'll play her streams in the background while watching some games, or if she's playing. Usually that happens if she's playing games. And if she's playing a game that I like, then I'll, commit my full attention to it. The main reason that like I ended up sticking with her is actually because she speaks both English and Korean. So like you see, like I was already not familiar, but I knew about the KR branch of Niji Sanji, like long before I discovered Hada. And since I myself, I'm pretty decent at Korean. I had like some interest in like, potentially following some Korean streamers. It's just that I pretty quickly came to the realization that like watching streamers who speak solely Korean was hard, even with my skill of Korean. Whereas with Hada, since she speaks both Korean and English, and usually both in the same stream, it helps me I can enjoy the English part of the stream, and as for the Korean part of the stream, I can use it as kind of a learning tool for my Korean. So it's like it's entertainment, but at the same time, I'm also improving my Korean skills. Yeah, that's basically it.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. So, since she does repeat what she says in English and Korean and vice versa and Japanese as well, I guess it is kind of a 2-in-1 where you know what's going on and the entertainment value is there, and you're learning at the same time if you're learning Korean. Okay, then for the third question is if you can create one kind of merchandise for Hada, which had to be Hada themed, what would you make it to be?
This was the question that I kind of had to ponder on a bit because I don't really buy merch. First of all, like I've never bought any merch for
Wow,
myself.
not even voice packs.
And no, unfortunately, I've never spent money for. I mean, to be fair, I'm barely 18, so.
Okay, that
I'm not even
yeah,
18
it's
yet.
under there. Remember, please spend responsibly. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. It's okay.
Yeah, like I'm turning 18 this year, so yeah, there's like money, like my money spending is still not with me.
No, that's understandable. So, what have you thought of?
The first few things I thought of were like the simple, like the obvious stuff. Like for example, like pillows, like dakimakuras, for example,
Ooh.
or like or like keychains. Keychains is like a common one that even like we've talked about in this server. But like I don't like with my experience using keychains, I don't really have like much use for keychains. Like when I receive them, I kind of just like put them in my drawers. So I was thinking like what would be like a piece of merch. But as for dakimakura, obviously like I'm still with my family, so yeah, it's kind of out of the question for me to bring home like an anime girl pillow. So I was thinking what's something that like I use a lot and I can bring like almost everywhere, and the conclusion I came to was basically my phone. So yeah, the answer I thought of was I would like want Hada themed phone cases. I understand that's like pretty difficult, probably because you have to adjust for each phone brand. But yeah, that's what I would want.
Oh yeah, that would be a very good one. Like, just have her maybe her pinwheel and whatnot, other like identifiable designs on a phone case. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Well, thank you for
Probably
participating in this.
impossible.
Well, thanks for participating in this and giving up your time.
Yeah, thank you to you
Yeah,
too.
I hope you improve Korean as you watch more Hada, and then we can have full-on Korean back and forth with no mistakes.
Sure. Also, I'm gonna try to recall her again in the future, so I look forward to that.
Alright, thanks man. 네, 거점이 1부의 마지막 게스트분이었습니다. 네, 1부가 끝났네요. 뭐 잘 되는지 안 되는지 모르겠지만 한번 해봤어요. 네, 그렇다면 잠시 쉬고 2부로 돌아오겠습니다. So that's the final guest for part 1. Doing it for the first time, I don't know if this is going well or not. Might be a bit of scuff, but as once someone said to me, we embrace the scuff. And with that, we'll take a bit of a break and we'll come back for part 2. See you there.